Namaskar. Welcome friends. In this session, we are going to discuss about the Bureau of Indian Standards or the BIS. So, what exactly flashes your mind when you hear the words BIS or the ISI mark? Maybe the LPG cylinders, regulators, gas stoves, or the packaged drinking water bottles, electric cables, switches and appliances, or the hallmark gold jewelry maybe. Cement and steel, you may have also witnessed the ISI mark on these products, and the latest being the mobile phones and other commonly used electronic items like the laptops, television, whereby the IS number or the Indian standard number can be prominently seen. So basically it's all around us. So what basically is the Bureau of Indian Standards? It's the national standards body of India and it's under the aegis of the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution of the Government of India. It was established on the 1st of April 1987 through an Act of Parliament with a broadened scope and more powers, taking over the staff, assets, liabilities and functions of the erstwhile Indian Standards Institution, which we famously know as the ISI. And the first director of ISI was Dr. Lal C. Varman. A bit about the genesis of BIS. The genesis of BIS dates back to the pre-independence era when the Institution of Engineers of India acted as the Indian Committee of British Standards Institution since the 6th of August 1919. Government of India resolution on the 3rd September 1946 was for the establishment of Indian Standards Institution. Indian Standards Institution, which is the predecessor of the Bureau of Indian Standards, was set up on the 6th of January 1947, which happens to be before the independence of the India, with the objective of promoting standardization, quality control and simplification in industry and commerce. Now talking about the structure of BIS, what exactly BIS is? The Bureau is a body corporate consisting of 25 members representing the state and central governments, members of parliament, industry, scientific and research institutions, consumer organizations and professional bodies. Now the president of the Bureau of Indian Standards is the Union Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and the vice president of the Bureau is the Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Now the BIS is spread across the country, across India, with its headquarters based at New Delhi. It has 5 regional offices spread across every region: North, Central, South, Western and Eastern. It has 32 branch offices including 3 sub-branch offices and 8 laboratories. Now the core activities of BIS. BIS has a plethora of activities ranging from standard formulation and international standardization activity, certification including registration activity, hallmarking of jewelry and artifacts, management system certification, testing and training. The objectives of standardization are harmonious development of activities of standardization, marking and quality certification. It is to evolve a national strategy for according recognition to standards and integrating them with growth and development of industrial production and exports. BIS currently has over 19,000 published Indian standards. So the standards are spread across 14 technical sectors ranging from basic and production engineering to chemical, civil engineering, electronics and telecommunications, electrotechnical, food and agriculture. This food and agriculture has more than 1900 Indian standards. Management systems, mechanical engineering, medical equipment and hospital planning, metallurgical engineering, petrochemical, coal and related products, textile, transport engineering and water resources. The second activity of BIS is the product certification activity. Certification is basically a procedure by which a third party gives written assurance that a product, process or a service conforms to specified requirements. It is basically voluntary in nature, except for 120 items under mandatory certification, out of which 30 are under compulsory registration scheme. The product certification is operated through a network of 5 regional, 32 branch offices including 3 sub-branch offices throughout India with its headquarters at New Delhi. Currently, there are more than 30,000 licenses in operation by BIS. Now, this is the BIS standard mark for product certification. There is an ISI mark on top of which the IS number of the product is mentioned, and below which the certification mark's license number, which is allocated to a factory, is written. The BIS certification activities, the product certification schemes are for the domestic markets, certification schemes for foreign manufacturers, hallmarking of precious metals, eco-marking, while the management system certification schemes encompass this quality system certification including HACCP, environment management system certification, occupational health and safety and the FSMS, which is the Food Safety Management System. Now, there are some policy guidelines which mandate the mandatory certification, which have health, safety, security, infrastructure, mass consumption and protection of local population against spurious imported products as its main policy guidelines. The main items which are under mandatory certification are infant milk substitutes, milk powders, plastic feeding bottles, packaged drinking water, packaged natural mineral water, cement, cables, pneumatic tires and tubes, LPG cylinders, regulators, valves, oil pressure stoves, electrical appliances, steel and steel products, clinical thermometers, multi-purpose dry batteries and the diagnostic medical X-ray equipment. Now a bit about hallmarking. Hallmarking is the accurate determination and official recording of the proportionate content of precious metal in precious metal articles. There are two popular Indian standards for the precious metal items, IS 1417 which is for gold while IS 2112 is for silver. Gold hallmarking is available in three grades of 14 karat, 18 karat and 22 karat, and they must carry four essential marks for its presentation. First is the BIS logo, second is the purity in carat and fineness, third is the assaying center's identification mark, and fourth is the jeweller's identification mark. BIS also has an eco mark scheme whereby BIS has been designated as a certifying body by the Government of India for eco mark scheme. There are additional requirements which are laid down by the Ministry of Environment and Forest, which are provision for biodegradability, use of environment friendly raw material, conformance to environmental regulations. There are 19 broad categories of products which have so far been included in the list, which include the soap and detergents, paints, paper, packaging, food and beverages, food additives, plastic products, textiles, cosmetics, electrical and electronic goods, dry cell batteries and lubricating oils. Now the eco mark is a special mark which depicts a standard mark and an eco logo which adorns such eco-friendly products. Foreign Manufacturer Certification Scheme of BIS was launched in September 1999. This scheme is for the foreign manufacturers whereby more than 600 licenses have been granted in 50 countries covering more than 70 products. The products include tires and tubes, steel and steel products, cement, electrical products, milk products, helmet, jute products and clinical thermometers. These licenses have been granted to manufacturing units in countries such as China, Japan, South Korea, France, Nepal, Italy, Malaysia, etc. Now a bit about the BIS Registration Scheme which has been recently introduced. Ministry of Communication and Information Technology have issued the Electronics and Information Technology Goods Act Order 2012 notifying identified products for compulsory registration with effect from 3rd of April 2013. Registration scheme is being operated by BIS whereby a manufacturer may apply for registration of the notified products along with the test reports issued by BIS recognized laboratories. As on date, BIS has granted 2600 registrations to manufacturers located throughout the world and in India for 30 notified products. Some of the popular items which are under mandatory BIS registration are tablets, notebooks, printers and scanners, LED and LCD televisions, set-top boxes, mobile phones, power banks for portable applications and microwave ovens. Now we will discuss something about international standardization. There are basically three leading international standardization organizations. First is the ISO, which is the International Organization for Standardization. Second is the IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission for Electrotechnology, and third is the ITU, which is the International Telecommunication Union for Telecommunications. BIS and international cooperation. BIS as the national standards body of India has been participating in international standardization activities and projecting India's interest during various stages of the development of international standards. BIS is a founder member of ISO and continues to take active parts in its activities. Something about ISO. It was founded in 1947. It is an independent body. It is a non-governmental organization and it has global network of national standards bodies spread across the whole world, and one member per country can participate in it. ISO membership comes with rights, benefits, obligations and good practice. ISO acts as a bridging organization in which consensus can be reached on solutions that meet requirements of business and society. The objectives of international standardization organizations are to facilitate exchange of goods and services between countries, improving communication and collaboration in all spheres of activity, supporting smooth and equitable growth of trade for a safe and sustainable development, and associating all stakeholders through transparent and democratic mechanisms based on national contribution and international networking. Some of the popular ISO standards which you may have heard are ISO 9000, which is on quality management. It makes sure your products and services meet customers' need with this family of standards. ISO 22000, it is the food safety management standard which inspires confidence in your food products. Third is the ISO 14000, which is on environmental management, and it improves your environmental performance with this family of standards. Fourth is the ISO 45001, which is on occupational health and safety. It reduces workplace risks and creates safer working environments. Another one is ISO IEC 27001, which is on information security. It ensures your organization's information is secure with this family of standards. ISO 26000 is on social responsibility. It helps your organization to operate in a socially responsible way with this standard. ISO 50001 is on energy management. It makes energy savings and helps make your organization more efficient. ISO 3166 is on country codes, which avoids confusion when referring to countries and their subdivisions. Now basically the ISO members are spread across the globe, and it has a total of 163 members, and 119 member bodies are participating members and 39 are correspondent members, while 4 are subscriber members. The P member, as it is popularly called, is the participating member. In India, there are more than 400 technical committees and subcommittees on which India is a P member. India is an observing member for around 250 technical committees or subcommittees of ISO. India currently holds the secretariat for 2 technical committees and 6 subcommittees. BIS fulfills P membership responsibilities through electronic voting and participation. The technical departments dealing with related NMCs or the National Mirror Committees do the balloting. The International Relations Department monitors the voting and participation. The ISO standard development process starts with the proposal stage, whereby it is confirmed that a new international standard in the subject area is really needed, and it requires an electronic balloting portal to decide whether to initiate this process or not. Second is the preparatory stage, whereby a working group is on the job and it prepares the working draft. Third is the committee stage, from where the draft from the working group is shared with the parent committee. Next is the inquiry stage, whereby the draft international standard is formulated. It has a 3-month period for comments, and the draft international standard is approved if a 2/3 of the P members of the technical committee are in favor and not more than 1/4 of the total number of votes cast are negative. If the DIS is approved, the project goes straight to the publication, bypassing the approval stage, which is the finalized draft international stage or the FDIS stage. Next is the publication stage. The WTO context. According to the WTO Agreement on Technical Barriers to Trade, or the TBT, whenever possible, voluntary consensus based international standards are preferred for international commerce rather than mandatory technical regulations. The benefits of WTO context are avoidance of unnecessary obstacles to trade, non-discrimination and national treatment, transparency, harmonization, equivalence of technical regulations, and mutual recognition of conformity assessment procedure. ISO on standardization food products. ISO TC 34 is on food products. Total number of published standards under ISO TC 34 are 842. The participating countries are 77, while 63 are observing countries. 17 subcommittees are there on different food products, while more than 250 ISO standards in the food and agriculture sector have been harmonized by BIS. Now something about the Codex Commission, which developed the Codex in 1962. It's a joint venture between FAO and the WHO to formulate internationally accepted food safety standards for protection of human health and to ensure fair trade practices. Codex standards ensure that the food product is safe internationally. It is open to UN member nations, all UN member nations, and it currently has 165 members, that is 98% of the world is here. The National Codex Contact Point, or the NCCP, has been constituted by FSSAI in India. Currently more than 100 BIS food products have been harmonized with Codex. Now something about regional standardization in our Asian subcontinent. South Asian Regional Standards Organization, or the SARSO, is a specialized body of SAARC which was established in 2011 for the purpose. It has its secretariat in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and it develops harmonized standards for the SAARC region. This is formulated to facilitate intra-regional trade, and they have recently finalized SARSO standards on sugar, biscuits and code of hygienic practices for dairy industries.